Hey everyone, welcome to Homeschool and I am back with important question series, and today I selected a chapter Heredity and Evolution, one of the most important chapters of class 10 biology, and this chapter is really important for the people who are going to write 2021 Karnataka SSLC board examination. Clear? Because none of the topics are deleted from the chapter. Entire chapter is there for the exam, so you have to concentrate this a lot. Fine. And today I have come up with certain questions which were previously asked frequently in the board papers. I mean, if not the same questions, at least the same concept was asked in a different way. So I have brought such questions for you all. So you can definitely expect one or two questions from the questions I am solving in today's video. So don't miss it out, watch till the end. See, if you want a concept clarity on a chapter, I have covered each and every concept in a detailed way. Playlist link is provided in a description where you can go and check with the links. Clear? So let us start with our first question, and this is a very common question most frequently asked in the previous papers. If not the same question, at least the same model would be there. So concentrate the question carefully. The plants bearing round yellow colored seeds are self-pollinated. Represent the result obtained in the F2 generation of dihybrid cross with the help of a checkerboard. Mention the varieties of plants obtained in F2 generation. Right? So what are they telling you? A round yellow seed bearing plant. Right? This was the genotype of the plant, was self-pollinated, right? RRYY. So what are the gametes you will get from this particular plant? So you would be getting RY, right? And R, capital R, small y, capital Y, small r, and then one more gamete, small r, small y, isn't it? And similarly, the same type of gametes you will get even in this plant, that is capital R, capital Y, capital R, small y, capital Y, small r, and then small r, small y. Fine. So how do you show the different varieties of plants using a checkerboard? So you have to put a checkerboard now. So let me put the gametes of these plants this side. Capital R, capital Y, capital R, small y, isn't it? Capital Y, small r, and then small r, small y. So these are the gametes of one plant, and now the gametes of another plant. The same thing, right this way. So capital R, capital Y, and then capital R, small y, capital Y, small r, and then small r, small y, isn't it? So these are the different gametes, and now combine them. Capital R, capital R, capital Y, capital Y. So this is a round yellow category, isn't it? So round yellow category is this variety. And now next is capital R, capital R, capital Y, small y. Right? So this is also round and yellow category. Right? Fine. And next is your capital R, capital Y, small r. So this is also round yellow category. And this one, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. This is also round yellow category. Isn't it? Fine. Next one. Capital R, capital R, capital Y, small y. This is also round yellow category. Next one, capital R, small y. So this is our round green category. Right? Round and green category. Fine. Capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. So this is also our round and yellow category. Next one, R, Y, Y. So you had got another round green category, isn't it? Okay, let me put one big circle on round green category. Okay, 2 round green categories we have got so far. And the next one would be capital R, small r, capital Y, capital Y. So this one is round yellow category itself. Next one, R, R, Y, Y. This is also round yellow category. Next one is small r, capital Y, right? So this one is wrinkled yellow category. Wrinkled and yellow category, isn't it? Fine. Say for this I will put one, square box. And next one, R, R, Y, Y. This is also our wrinkled yellow category, right? Fine. Next one, R, R, Y, Y. This is round yellow category. And next one would be capital R, small y, small y. So this is round green category again. Say here we had already got 2 varieties of round green. Now the third variety of round green we had got. Next one would be R, R, Y, Y. So this is, what is this, guys? So this one would be our wrinkled yellow category. Wrinkled yellow category, isn't it? So this is one variety. So three wrinkled yellow category we had got. And the final one, R, R, Y, Y. That means wrinkled green category. Wrinkled green. Okay, so now let us list it out. How many round yellow plants we had got? Round yellow was 9, isn't it? And the next type of a plant was round green variety. Round and green variety. How many we had got? Round and green. 1, 2 and 3. 3 we had got. And next variety is wrinkled yellow category. Wrinkled yellow seeds, isn't it? So how many? These are also 3 varieties. And the last variety, only one we had got, that is wrinkled green. So wrinkled green variety we had got only one, right? So what is our phenotypic ratio here? 9:3:3:1, right? So this is how you have to neatly draw the checkerboard and show them what are the different varieties of plants and how many you had got, right? Mention the phenotypic ratio also. So this is one famous question that can be asked for 4 marks, and along with that, one conceptual question they would ask on this concept is, see, the traits which are not present in the parents gets expressed in the offspring and why. Understand the question? Traits not present in the parents gets expressed in offsprings. That is progeny. Why? You can observe one thing here. What are the parents here? Parents were having round yellow seeds, isn't it? Fine. But you see the varieties of plants you had got. You had got round green, you had got wrinkled yellow and wrinkled green also, isn't it? So wrinkled green is a very unusual plant that you can get from these particular parents, isn't it? So why? See, actually these are the traits which are not present in the parent, but still they are getting expressed in the offspring. It is all due to one important Mendel's law, that is, Mendel has given a law of independent assortment, right? So what is the reason? What is the answer for this question? It is due to law of independent assortment. So what do you mean by law of independent assortment here? The alleles gets separated during gamete formation and they independently combine, right? Independently combine to give various types of a plant. This is what we mean by law of independent assortment. So what I can write here, genes gets separated during gamete formation and they combine independently to give varieties of plants, right? So that is the reason, though the wrinkled and green character is not there in a parent, it gets expressed in the offspring generation, is because, say, they have the gene responsible to those characters, they are getting separated during gamete formation and they are combining independently. That's the reason, though the traits were not there in the parents, they are getting expressed in the offspring, right? So this is one major concept of the chapter which has been continuously repeatedly asked for 4 marks in the previous board papers, right? So we'll go for the next question. And the second important question from the chapter is, what is evolution? Explain the 3 evidences for evolution. So how do you define a term evolution here? Evolution is a gradual change of simple life forms into complex life forms, isn't it? So this is what you can give as a definition for evolution. Simple living organisms gets converted into complex organisms. So if you go little deeply in the process of evolution, evolution is due to lots of variations that occur in generation to generations. Okay, so evolution is also due to variation that takes place in many generations. So this is what you can give as an answer, and they are also asking you explain the 3 evidences for evolution. Say the 3 evidences I can give you here is, the first one is homologous organs, and not just mentioning, you have to explain them with 1 or 2 sentences. So what do you mean by homologous organs? Organs which have same structure or structural origin but different functions. So such organs are called homologous organs. Say for example, the limbs of mammals, reptiles, birds, all of them look like in a similar way, but their function is different in different organism, isn't it? So I can say forelimbs of birds, reptiles, mammals. These are the examples for homologous organs. Now the second evidence for evolution is analogous organs. So analogous organs are exactly opposite to homologous organs, isn't it? That means they have same function but different structure. Different structure is called analogous organs. So what are the examples you can give for analogous organs? Wings of bat is different, wings of butterfly is different. They have same function, that is for flying, but they have different structure. This is analogous organs. Here the question can be asked in a different way. For 2 marks, they would ask you write the differences between homologous and analogous organs, isn't it? So this topic can also be asked in the form of differentiate format. Differentiate between homologous and analogous organs for 2 marks. Very, very important question. Clear? Fine. And here the third evidence for evolution I can give is fossils. You can write the definition of fossils. It's nothing but the dead remains of plants and animals can be an evidence for the evolution. There is a reptile called Archaeopteryx long back, and when we studied its fossil, we got to know that the birds have been evolved from reptiles, isn't it? So that example you can mention here. Since you have to write the definition, along with that explain the example, right? And then you would be getting complete 4 marks. This is actually a 4-mark question. What is evolution? And give any 3 evidences. So first one is homologous organ, analogous organ, and the third one is fossils. Clear? That's all. And we'll go for the next question. The next question would be, write the differences between the sex chromosomes of man and sex chromosomes of women is the first sub-question. And the second sub-question is, sex of a child is determined by the father. Why? Let us see the first sub-question. The difference between the sex chromosomes of man and sex chromosomes of women. So in man, what are the sex chromosomes you would find? You would find XY. In women, the sex chromosomes are XX, right? And here, the alleles are different. Alleles are different. I can say father would have heterozygous condition. Heterozygous condition, right? And here, the alleles are same. Mother would have the same alleles. I can also say it is homozygous condition, isn't it? So this is the difference between the sex chromosomes of man and woman. Fine. And now coming to the second sub-question, that is, sex of a child is determined by the father. Why? Say father has a chromosomes XY, mother has X and X. Isn't it? So during the gamete formation, the gamete may have X allele or it may have Y allele. But in case of mother, whatever may the gamete, it would have only X. Isn't it? So when X and X would combine, you will get XX, that is a female, right? And when Y and X would combine, you would get Y and X, that is a male, right? Father's gamete with X allele had combined with the mother's gamete, then definitely a female child would born, and a father's gamete with Y variety when combined with a mother's gamete, then a male child would born. So from this we can clearly say that sex of a child is definitely depends on a father, right? So this is how you can explain about this question. Coming to the next question, guys. What is monohybrid cross? Write the genotypic ratio and phenotypic ratio of Mendel's monohybrid cross. Say monohybrid cross is nothing but Mendel's experiment which is studied by taking only one contrasting character. Isn't it? So Mendel's experiment which includes the studying of only one contrasting character, isn't it? Very, very important. Okay. And they also asked you write the genotypic ratio and phenotypic ratio of Mendel's monohybrid cross, right? Let us mention the ratios by taking one example. So let me take a tall plant crossed with a short plant, isn't it? Dwarf plant. Say only one contrasting character, that is height of a plant is what I selected, and when I crossed them in the first generation, you would get only tall varieties. All tall varieties you will get. And now in the F2 generation, when I self-pollinate these two plants, and I would be getting a gametes here, capital T small t, and here we will get capital T small t. So if you write a checkerboard, can you tell me what are the possible varieties you would get? When I write a checkerboard, I get a tall plant, again a tall plant, right? And capital T, tall plant, small t, right? Say, what is the genotypic ratio here? Let me write genotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio is capital T, one variety you had got, capital T, 2 genes you had, and small t. That means 1:2:1 is the genotypic ratio. Clear? 1:2:1 is the genotypic ratio. And now let me write phenotypic ratio. So what is a phenotypic ratio here? See, tall plant, dwarf plant. That means 3:1. 3 plants are tall and 1 plant is dwarf, isn't it? Say you have to mention this phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio, and also give the definition for monohybrid cross for this particular question. Clear? And I just to make you understand the concept in a deeper sense, I have done this workout. Otherwise, for the question that they have asked like this, you no need to work out all these things. You can just mention genotypic ratio and phenotypic ratio. Clear? And let us see the next question here. How does speciation takes place? First sub question. And the second sub question was define the term gene. Say, how does the speciation takes place? What do you mean by speciation, guys? Formation of a new species from older ones is called speciation. So what are the different ways you can observe a speciation? You can observe by migration, isn't it? And second one is by natural selection. And the third one is by genetic drift. And the next one is by mutations, right? Since it's a 2-mark question, if you can just mention the names, it's more than enough. But sometimes questions will come based on these things. Say they would ask you to explain each and everything in a detailed way. For that, you must completely understand the concept, and if you want to understand a concept in a detailed way, we have videos in our channel where the playlist link is provided in the description. You can just go and check with the link where I have done a detailed explanation on each and every topic. Clear? Fine. And now the next sub question, define the term gene. So what do you mean by a gene here? Gene is a fraction of chromosomes which is responsible for a particular character, isn't it? Say this is how you can define the term gene. And coming to the last question, what are fossils? How do we know how old the fossils are? So we all know the definition of fossils, isn't it? So the dead remains of living organisms are called fossils. Okay, so how do we know that which fossil has what age? I mean, how do you know how old is the fossil? First one is by knowing the depth of earth where fossil was found. The more deeply you found the fossil in a earth crust, the more is its age. So that way, to some extent, you can come to know the age of a fossil. And the second method is carbon dating. I can say carbon-14 dating. Say with the help of carbon-14 isotope, we can find the age of the fossils. So these are the two methods by which we can find the age of a fossil. So that's all about the today's question. Say I have covered all the important concepts from the chapter. So definitely from these questions, 1 or 2 questions you can expect for this year Karnataka 2021 examination. Clear everyone? So concentrate the chapter. This is really a very important chapter. So with this, I am ending my video. see you with the next chapter's important questions. Till then, take care and do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in a easiest way and in a detailed way. Thank you so much.